Hi, welcome to the Influence Women podcast. I'm your host, Kathleen Cooke, and I'm excited today to welcome Broadway and television actress and musical artist, Gabrielle Lee. You don't want to miss this one as Gabrielle walks us through how we can create a professional-looking digital online press kit. She's going to be sharing about her vast career, and it's going to be a great time for you to grow in your career today. Join us now for the next Influence Women podcast. Hi, welcome to the Influence Women podcast. I'm your host and global director, Kathleen Cooke, and I am thrilled to death to have Gabrielle Lee with us. She is a Broadway and television actress and a musical artist. And she's going to share about her background, her professional life. She lives in New York City, and she's had a great career. But one of the things that she is most passionate about right now is seeing women flourish and creating what she has developed as an online digital press kit. And Gabrielle and I have been friends for a long time. She's come to several of our Influence Women events. And so I'm going to just read a little bit about her bio, and I'm going to then just let her talk about herself for a little bit. And then we're going to talk about this digital press kit. She is, as I said, a theater, television, and film actress, a concert and cabaret performer, and does commercials as well and commercial modeling. She's held roles on Broadway and on European tours, off-Broadway shows, regional productions, and then also on the big screen and the little screen. She's been, you may have seen her on Chicago PD, Blue Bloods, Bull, Madam Secretary, Law and Order, and the HBO Max nominated short 27 Candles. Her musical performances include the New York Pops, Cab Calloway, Ray Charles Orchestra, Steely Dan, Marvin Hamlish, Natalie Cole, and she's been a background artist and leading vocalist with Harry Belafonte, a classic voice in our culture and our world. She's also been a writer and a producer on her Blackbirds Legends concert series. She serves as the senior artist advisor and creative director on her new digital press kit. And like I said, we've been delighted to have her with us as an Influence Women member for several years now. So welcome, Gabrielle Lee. Hi, Gabrielle. Your bio is just enormous.
I was like, is she going to keep reading all this? Thank you for having me, Kathleen.
Yes, well, we are thrilled to death, and specifically because I love that you're a Broadway actress. You know, we get a lot of television and film actresses on Influence Women, but we haven't had that many Broadway actresses. We hope to be growing that.
Yeah, I tend to hop from TV to theater to cabaret to singing backup vocals, as you mentioned, with some of the people with big bands. I love to sing with big bands and orchestras. So it's not just one. God has me in so many different arenas, and that's great. No complaints, but it's a lot. It's a lot, yeah. Kathleen.
It is a lot, but congratulations. You are a great voice. God's blessed you with a great talent in you. I love that you use it not only to share your love and caring for other people through your musical talents and your artistry, but to be a light out there for God's kingdom as well, and a smile and a breath of fresh air that we all need on our screens today. So
that you said that, like, when you asked me to come share a bit, you just said a light, and that's the first thing I said. My topic is letting your light shine. And I was born from years of learning how to recognize gifts and to own them and to trust the voice of God in my life, as He always revealed to me what was next and what I was called to do in life. When we all hear purpose, you have a purpose, God has a plan, but we don't always know. We're blessed with the seed that God planted in us with a dream with desires, with hopes. But how does that come to play? How does that unfold? And throughout my life, because I started out, I always knew I was going to be a performer since I was 4 or 5 years old. Always knew it. Didn't know how. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I have 3 older brothers, a younger sister. My mom and dad, we didn't come from a lot. And so I said, okay, this is it. It's going to be okay. Divine intervention, because I don't know how on earth this is going to happen. and my grandmother would say, be a teacher, because, it's secure, and I wanted to live in New York. My aunt was an opera singer. She was on Broadway in the 70s, Guys and Dolls, Tremonisha, and she went on to sing opera. She has and I knew, I saw it all. My grandmother played the pipe organ in church. I come from like a musical,
Yeah, background, a legacy, it sounds like. It's a legacy, yeah.
Yeah. And so I just didn't know I was going to support myself. But I'll tell you, there are stages in my life where I didn't recognize, this is important. I want to say this because it's important to recognize the hand of God in your life along your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of what I have done, and I mean, we do our part and we step up, but if he says he has a plan and a purpose, he definitely does. So what that means is I saw myself in my dreams when I was a little girl. My dreams, I saw myself as an adult on stage, singing and performing always. And I remember going through the house telling my mom, I was like, I would be singing. I would just sing everything. And I said, I would tell her specifically of a dream. I kept seeing the same image of me in a long black velvet gown in the center of the stage. And there was like one spotlight over my head. And I'm going to fast forward, when I got to New York, the contract that got me my equity contract, you have to work in equity, the union, Equity Actors Equity Association is a union. The performers, and SAG-AFTRA is for film and TV. Equity is for Broadway and performers on stage. And so I was offered a role called Florence Mills. She was the first Blackbird in Harlem. And I was offered it was called Blackbirds of Broadway. And I had passed on the audition. I'm fast forwarding a lot. The reason I'm fast forwarding a lot was because that contract, I ended up being offered this contract. I was called in, it was snowing. The city of New York had closed down. I kept seeing this ad pop up in the trade paper. We need an ingenue, a little blackbird, blah, 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 blah. And I had just come off of a tour of some show, and I said, I should go to this. And I ended up schlepping it up to this audition. And I got into the audition. There were the pianist there, who actually turns out to be one of my musical directors now to this day. I'm telling you, this was like 20 years ago when I first got to he had me singing from Porgy and Bess to Home to blues. And after it was done, another gentleman was sitting there, and he opened up this book, and it's called a costume rendering book. And it shows you the costume renderings for a show. He pulled up this picture of a woman in a long black velvet gown. And he said to me, who does this look like? And I said, it looks like me. And they offered me the job. He says, we'll give you this job. I said, it's equity. I'm not. He says, we will make you equity after this contract. And I never had to go through any of the loops and bounds that most performers do. So that was God. When you don't know, he has it laid out for me. That one thing got me in the door. And from there, that's just the way these things have just come to me. All of it. From that musical, the musical director called me into an audition he says, someone needs a background vocal. They need a soprano. And I love singing harmony. And I walked in the room, and it was Harry Belafonte. And he had me singing, and I was like, I mean, one thing led to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And so I asked myself, why do I worry? Why? Why? Because the world says it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. The world says there's no work out here. It's hard. During school, to pay for my way through college, I would work temp. I learned how to type fast in high school, in grade school. That led me to working temp at this legal technology company. I learned so many skills. I learned how to automate law firms. I learned everything about law firms. Who knew that God was going to use that as my financial cushion to support myself in New York City?
Yeah.
When I got here, and it was the first, I said, okay, I can temp because I have to pay bills. Like, how am I going to support myself? And it was the cushion that I needed. I got hired contractually. They called me an in-house temp at like one of the third largest law firms while here in New York City. And every time I got booked on a contract, I could go out and perform. If I didn't have anything, they said, are you available? Can you come in and help us out? I was offered six-figure jobs to work full time. And I said, I love the money. I would love to, but I think I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to perform. I have to go with that.
God really, I believe, embeds in us from an early age what we're supposed to do. People ask me, when did I know I was going to be an actress originally? And I said, well, my mom she used to have an outdoor trash can that she filled up with flea market finds and costumes and things for me so I could create my own shows and my own theatrical performances as a child. And I truly believe that God really was preparing me at that stage of my life also for what he has for us to do. I often say to parents, pay attention to how your kids are playing, because God's embedding in them some things into their lives as a child that's going to come to fruition as an adult. And so I love that story. I just love that story of God giving you that vision, even of that long black dress with that light with that light shining down.
And I grew up in church. I was always in church with my family, but the way God works in your life is something I don't think I was really taught. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yep.
Like the way he works in Gabrielle's life, the way he brings things about is because it's God, it's his hand, because it came from nothing else.
So let's take it a step further. We know it. We've seen it as a child. We've done the hard work. I'm sure you had voice lessons, and you were, like you said, you were singing all the time. God was preparing you along the way. But then we have to get to the point where we actually step out, don't we, and become gutsy. We have to be brave and courageous. Like you said, you had to put on those clothes in that snowy day and get across town and do the hard work. And know that God's got you. So how do we move from what God gives us a vision of to essentially stepping out and being bold? What's God taught you about that?
Oh gosh, about being bold. I always say not listening to the world and other people, and just knowing that God says I am chosen. So I won't disqualify myself. Stop judging myself. Don't disqualify myself. God says I am appointed. He says I am appointed. He's appointed me. So I won't rush, but I have to be prepared for the appointment, the assignment. And God also says he will finish what he started. He said, he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. So one is I have to trust. And I have to be prepared. I have to be prepared. When I'm not prepared, I don't rush out. I don't go, really. Like there's hesitation. And why? And I have to recognize that. I have to be honest with myself, and I have to recognize, and you do have to be prepared. And working is not just when it happens on the stage, especially as performers and artists. The work happens off screen. It happens every day? What are you doing every day in your life? And that's a lot of work.
Mhm.
And you're
Mhm.
not paid for that part of it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know
Mhm.
that that answers your questions, but to me, that it's key in identifying where I'm going, what I'm doing, my preparation, and being ready for the assignments as they come.
Yeah. It's a quiet confidence, though, I think that God embeds in us. And I think when you don't have that engaged relationship with Him, when you don't have that working relationship with Him on a day to day basis, a moment to moment basis, you don't hear Him. So if you can't hear Him, how can you be obedient to His leading and His directions? And so that is on us then to be able to grab a hold of what God's embedded in our lives early on and have that quiet confidence that maybe this audition might not be the right one, but something's coming up and we need to keep working. We need to be staying confident in who He is in us and knowing that He's got our backs. And I think that's the difference between sometimes those who are working in the business that have faith, have a strong faith in God, and those who don't. They get a little bit more shaky, a little bit more panicky.
It's so loud. I'm glad you said that because there's so much noise.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much social media and it's
Yep.
just quieting your mind and your spirit and yourself. Really, it really and now I just feel like it's increased over time. It didn't used to be this
Mm-hmm.
hard to be quiet and be still. It feels like to hear the voice of God. It's just like I really have to discipline myself for
Mm-hmm.
that time. It didn't used to be so hard
Mm-hmm.
to be. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And it is discipline. It is turning off those cameras sometimes and just saying, okay, God, I got to be quiet. I've got to listen, and He wants us to ponder. That's an old fashioned word. We have to ponder. We have to ponder on who He is, what He's done, stay in the Word and ponder on Scripture. So that's so important. Well, I love hearing about you. I know we're talking here, but we have people, I think, on with us tonight who want to learn from you, and especially what you've been doing recently in developing this professional and effective digital press kit.
Can
I'm
I
so
share about how it
excited.
came about? Like,
Yes, please
I
do.
have specific prayers about what I needed, and I've had websites, and I have the social media and that everyone uses. But here's the thing: I have been praying for. I need a new website. They've been so expensive. I spent a lot of money on my first, and I didn't really use it. It wasn't something. I don't know. Like it was just there. I never used it. I never sent people there. I have been praying about it for a long time. Last year I was doing a show, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. I was playing Billie Holiday. And but before that, before I was doing that show, it was at Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. I was in some workshops. I was taking some private workshops with casting directors here in New York. And at the end of one of the workshops, the casting director is a very important casting director. She said, Gabrielle, she said, do you have a website? And I said, I had just taken down my website. She says, can I look at your website? Literally. And I couldn't give it to her. I mean, I couldn't give it to her because I had taken it down. And I said, actually, it's not up. I'm redoing it. She says, okay. And she just sort of looked, because maybe that's like an answer she probably gets from a lot of actors and performers who look like they're not prepared, but they do
Mm-hmm.
ask you you never know when they're going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm shocked that she asked me for it, but it just shows interest. She was interested in seeing other aspects of me. And I could have just like kicked myself. I'm like, I like to feel like I'm never not prepared for everything. But that day she asked for it and I had just taken it down. So now since I straightforward. I booked this role at Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. On the closing night of that show, a gentleman came up to me, approached me, and said, Gabrielle, you're fabulous. They love the show. They love the show. I would like to do an electronic press kit on you. And I said, oh, really? Because people come up to, people come after the show there. People are asking for a lot of stuff. They're sort of, and I did not pay attention. I was like, oh, okay, here's something else someone wants from me. It's a lot. And then it was interesting. He gave me his card and he says, you can really use this. You're going to benefit from this. I was like, okay. And I was just, so I went away. And when I got back to New York, I kept looking at his card and he called me every now and then and I was pretty busy. Finally, I sat still long enough and I went to the website and I looked at it and I was like, he represents this guy. His name is Joel Percheski. He has this company called Blue Pella Media. Mm-hmm. And he's interested, like his gift is helping performers, artists, musicians, mostly singers is what his function, I guess, primarily has been in just advancing their career through his media because he loves it. That's what he does. He uses that organization to bless artists because he loves artists, but he also uses it to fund a lot of nonprofit organizations. He puts wells in other countries so people can have water in, third world countries and stuff like that. When he builds media press kits for other artists, some of the proceeds will go and help the hungry or, that's just what he does. So I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute. It's like I did a second look and I said, oh my God, God is trying. I called, I said, Joel, I need a new website. You don't have one for performers. Would you let me build one or create an environment, a platform for others, for creative artists, for models, for actors, for singers, for dancers? And I created mine, which you might want to pull up. Can you pull it up?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this real quick.
Pull it up. Let's pull it up here.
I ended up developing my own digital website. I renamed it DPK. It's called a digital press kit because in this day and time, you need websites are expensive, Kathleen, bulky, not really user friendly. What I developed was this. Look at that. Mm-hmm. It's called a digital press kit. And I realized, let me just say this, I realized that God was answering my prayer. I had been praying for a new website. Not only did God give me, this gentleman said, I want to do this for free. I did all of the work along with the developer and he loved it. And I said, you know what? I've always wanted to bless other performers. I want to be able to bless other people. I can share. He ended up bringing me on staff to minister to other actors and performers and to create this same platform for actors and other entertainers. And we do it at an affordable price because it's like a fraction of what it would cost to build. It's a lot of work that I put into it, but that's just something that I'm able to give. I'm able to minister to other actors, especially young actors who are getting started. I'm able to direct them and guide them on their resumes, on their bios, on their headshots, on what's needed, on what casting directors want to see. I build together their video. I pull from, they think, everyone has something. God is giving you something. Even if it's just that one little video, I can take it and make it so that casting directors see, that's their gift. So I do that for other actors. And this is like a platform for my ministry. And it's blessing me. And I'm able to bless others through it. And Joel has blessed me. I told him, I was like, you're going to get some serious wings in heaven. You have earned some wings. And so that's how the press kit, that's how all of this press kit came about. I think it's all God, Kathleen. That's all I can say.
It's wonderful and it's beautifully done and so professional.
Do you like it?
And
I love it. I'm so
I love
excited.
it too.
Each one, mine is the advanced press kit. I call it the advanced press kit because I do a lot of work. I do TV, film, commercial print, sing with orchestra, sing with big band. And so this page, it's one page, it scrolls on your phone, like you pull it up and literally it scrolls on your phone. It also comes with a QR code at the end of it. Once I finish, you'll get your own personal QR code so that you can just scan it. You can just say, here's my code. I could have now I sent the link. It comes with a link, your own personal link. And I email it. I email the QR code to casting people. I sent it to the woman and she loved it. And it's all on one page. All of your videos, your headshots. I have all of your social media platforms. Mine has, I put a roaming video so they could see my whole figure of me moving live on stage. That's my reel, have my acting reel, my bio. This is live in Asia, just so they get a visual. Oh, okay, this is how she looks. My select media section has the last 9. I have 3 of the last performances on musical theater, 3 of my latest film work that I did, and 3 cabaret sections. So it's like I pulled together 30 seconds to a minute for each video clip, so they can get an idea of the last pieces of work. Now that I've done a lot more, now I have to update it. And it's easy. I go in and I create my own reels. I do all of this for people.
That's
I have my
wonderful. It's
headshots.
fantastic. It's so fantastic.
I just laid out the different looks. My commercial media, these are the latest commercial shots that I've done. The main one there says makeup. What is it? New year, new face or something.
New year, new skin.
That was my new make. I'd never done a beauty ad before, and they used my skin. I love that.
Beautiful.
So I have that as a face. Thank you. And then the gallery. The gallery are Harry Belafonte, Liza Minnelli, Steely Dan. These are people that I've sung background vocals with or been on stage live with. And then the bottom section is just your contact. You put your agents. I don't list my agents there. I have several legit agents, commercial agents, theater agents. So eventually I'll do that when I get one. I'm probably about to sign with one.
You do need multiple agents, though, I believe, in the industry, because they all have their specialties.
They do. So that's how it came about.
So fabulous. God wonderful.
Put Joel Percheski in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at that show, my closing night, and now I'm doing this. I'm doing it for other people. So it's my ministry, and I wanted to say that God has an assignment, and we are a ministry. We are our own ministry for Him. You know, I think that we can use our gifts to be a blessing. We are in this. I just think it's amazing. Like His whole design wasn't just on stage. It's about His kingdom. It's about the influence, the light.
The light that comes through. That's
happy.
Right.
The light. This is light. And I'm able to share with other people. I share with you, and you create a platform for me to shine. And you just bless so many women by your platform. And
that's why we connect and collaborate, don't we? Like we do for Influence Women. So you've done this with other people, and I know you've been working with another actress as well. Can you share a little bit about what you've been doing with another actress as well?
My kit is the advanced kit. It's for performers who have like a broad range of work that they've done. I developed a standard press kit for Danielle David. Danielle David is a musical theater star performer in Holland and in Germany. She's a young up and coming star. Yeah. She just dropped her first CD, single This is her press page that I developed. You can see this is her about me. That picture there on the left is from what is that Gloria Estefan musical? On your
Sugar and
feet,
Spice,
on
it
your
says.
feet, on
Uh-huh.
your feet. She did
Oh, on your
she
feet.
was
Mhm.
in On Your Feet. She just finished The Color Purple. Um, Tina Turner, the musical. If you scroll up more, you'll see different highlights. This is her in the center. So I made a collage on the left of her
Mhm.
latest musicals that you could see. She was in Wicked.
Mhm.
She was in Hamilton. She's a fantastic dancer. And on the right, I created a clip that highlights her new single that she's on tour now in Japan.
We'll go
So
back.
in the
Yeah.
center, I like to create a highlight of each person in their natural speaking self so that you can see the things that they've done, but also in the center, you get an idea of who they are just as a person. And like we are here, like me,
Yeah.
you and I are talking. And so that's what I have usually, that's what I have in the center there. If you
Yep.
scroll, you know what I mean? So the
Yep.
select media, I pulled out different highlights from her six performances, the last six most recent of her performances. I have different clips. So if you clicked on each one of those clips, it'll pull up a segment from Hamilton of her in Hamilton or a segment of her in Tina Turner. Um, yeah, and then I have her
Great.
headshots there, and I created, show pictures, a gallery of her with Gloria Estefan and highlights of her in Hamilton. Yeah. And so it's and this is her first Broadway international show when she was young Nala in Lion King. That's a picture of
Mhm.
her when she was young. And and if you scroll up more, you can add to this. We can change those out. I created title plates. This here, that's her. This is her song, her new release, which is on different platforms, streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon. If you click on any one of those, you can buy it and purchase it directly there. Um, and if you scroll up, it's just her contact page.
Yep.
So that's it. It's
Beautifully done. Again,
all
it's
in one,
all there.
and you're able to work cross platform. Not just I designed it so that it's easy to use on the phone, but it works. It's even prettier on the computer. So and it just lines up so well on cross platform. So yeah.
Hmm. Gorgeous, just gorgeous,
Thank
beautifully done.
you.
And so you've designed these to help people then with their careers and what they're doing. So how do we get a hold of you in order for them to just begin to gather that information together? Because that's the work, right? You have to gather it together first.
So we're on all different levels in life. Everybody has something to highlight. Having this press kit is important. It's imperative because
Mhm.
people now say, I've run across actors or performers and they say, oh, I use Instagram, or I got Instagram and I got Facebook, or Linktree. Linktree is good. I haven't used it, but it doesn't do what this does. Linktree, I mean, there are advantages of having a digital press kit over social media. One is it's all one link, easy, one scroll. It's tailored, it's branded, it's polished. It's scannable. There's instant access. It's in a controlled environment. It's 100% about your work. So everyone doesn't have to look through Instagram, all of your, where
Or
they
all the advertisements you go on IMDb and
advertising.
It's
It's
constantly, you have to
distracted.
go through all the
It's
advertisements. Yeah.
disjointed. It's
Yeah.
informal. This is professional. You need a platform. It's you.
Hmm.
And you don't have to really worry about paying a huge price. And
Yeah.
there's no hidden cost. It's nothing. It's just a flat out. Plus, everything that you get with it is me. You get consultation. You get what you want. You design it. It could be as sleazy and as classy as you want it to be. So to answer your question, there's I pulled up or I created a list, like a checklist of what casting directors and agents always, bottom line, what they require and what they'd like to see. Your highlighted information, your headshots, your gallery shots. I don't know if I gave you, you may have a slide that you might want to pull up.
Yes.
It's called the DPK client checklist. And it's very helpful. It's a very helpful checklist of what performers need to have for themselves. Even before you come to me, it's a list of, I would say, like the 10 most important things I think casting directors are looking for. And you don't necessarily have to have all of them, but you can, it's a checklist to check off what you do have. And it also serves as a helpful reminder of what you can be working towards getting. Mm-hmm. You know, like I can pull together some reels. Where have I sung? So it doesn't have to be, if you have no TV footage, mine is TV footage. I pull mine off of, TV or from live performances. Technically, you're not allowed to because of union rules, but I've been able to capture some, like 5, 10, 15 seconds of something. Even if it's you, I have the one I'm working on now. I'm working with the Emily Marks is a student, MFA student at Ithaca College now. She's been singing. She plays guitar. She's a musical theater. She just won the Jimmy Awards, her high school Jimmy Awards. Yeah. And, but she's like, Gabrielle, I don't have a lot of footage. And I'm like, you'd be surprised what you have. She used to sing in her bathroom because with her guitar, she loves her, but she has a beautiful, gorgeous bathroom. But it sounds amazing. I'm thinking, Emily, she writes her own songs and that's just her place where she goes. It's her quiet. It's like her, and she's writing these songs. Like, I'm going to pull some of the footage from that. So I have, so she has her reels on here, bio, your news and reviews. If you have reviews where someone has said something about you or written up something, or your gallery shots, pictures of you on stage on high school drama league, or, if you love to be a model, it's like commercial print work. I do a lot of outdoor athletics, or, I take all of that and work with what you have. Yeah.
And I love the fact that it's a reminder that we need to start saving those things too, right? Start keeping a file of them so that when we're ready to put this together, they're right there for us. And so when you're doing performances and stuff, get yourself together and get them in great files.
That's another thing. So that's very valuable. That's a valuable comment, Kathleen, is that it is important to have all of your ducks lined up in a row. It would be helpful if you have it all in one. If you have one file, because what I do is I provide a Dropbox link. Once you decide you want a kit, I'll provide you with a Dropbox link and you can search everywhere. You just drop it in that Dropbox and I pull everything from that. Because if you don't have a file or all in one place, you can find it. I was like, oh, I know I have this in Word, or I have a PDF of this, or I have this photo here. You can just, once you find it, don't think about trying to create a file if you don't know how to do all that. Just pull it into a Dropbox. Put it in there. Just pull it out.
So how do we go and get connected with you to start doing this? And if we wanted to have you help us with that, how do we get a hold of you?
I gave you a slide of my business card. If you want to use that, I wanted to say something while you're trying to find this. Working temp is not part of what God has called you to do. I want to say that because I found this, I saw this article on, I don't know if you know who Chandra Wilson is. Chandra Wilson works on Grey's Anatomy. I don't watch it, but I used to watch it on Grey's Anatomy. And let me tell you what she said. She kept her temp job throughout the first season of Grey's Anatomy. I mean, it's been on for I don't know how many years now. She's the main star of it. So she kept her job throughout the first season of Grey's Anatomy, and she kept calling in saying, I won't be available this weekend. And one day her supervisor told her, can you stop calling us? We see you on TV. It's hysterical. It reminded me of me. I would call in and they were like, Gabrielle, there was a spread of me in a Verizon ad when I walked into the temp law firm I was in. And they said, came over to my desk and they said, "What are you doing here?" And there's a big spread of me, a Verizon ad. And I
Yeah.
just thought it was hysterical. And also, I wanted to say this too. When I was working with Harry Belafonte, we were off season. I was temping one day and I found out that the attorney that I was temping for invited me to a private event as a firm event that was at his apartment on Upper West Side. It was Harry Belafonte's attorney. I
Mm.
got to his platform and the doors open and we walked into, I was like, I know where I'm going. We walked into Harry's apartment and he was his attorney. And I'm
Yeah.
speaking for his attorney. I'm like, God is just, it was all God. It's just the
Yeah.
full circle of that. Isn't that interesting?
So beautiful how he does pay attention to our steps, doesn't he, and lead us. He really
Yeah.
does. Yes.
This slide that you have here is one of our blue digital press kit blue Petal media slide with my contact information at the bottom. It says contact Gabrielle Lee at gmail.com. Or you can order your press kit at bluepella.net/order.epk slash.
And an EPK is the electronic press kit.
Yeah.
There's a second slide here I'll bring up as well for you, for our guests, about Blue Pella.
And we're able to create business cards for you. That's something else that the media company can offer, Blue Pella. Yeah, so that you hand out your card and people can just scan the QR code and it'll scroll up on their phone.
It's wonderful. Yep.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you so much. Our time has flown by. I wish we could. It is. It is. We have gone through our time, and boy, I know you have so much more to share. And I know people want to be able to contact you and maybe connect with you more and how they can create their digital press kit and have you help them. So again, it's contact Gabrielle Lee at gmail.com. If you're just listening to this as an audio podcast today and not the video, but again, contact Gabrielle Lee at gmail.com or her website at gabriellelee.com. And I know she'd love to help you. She's a fabulous artist, but more than important, she wants to see women flourish as well in their careers and see your career grow, because we're kingdom builders, we're connectors and collaborators, and that's what Influence Women is all about. So we are so thrilled again, Gabrielle, that were willing to share your wisdom and your knowledge with us and your joy and your light. We loved having you with us tonight. And one last thing before you go, where can we see you next coming up? Do you have something coming up that we can see you at?
I just closed the show last night.
Oh,
I did. I was in a production of Our Town, which Thornton Wilder's Our Town, which I love.
wow. I
Oh my
love
God.
that. Great theater piece.
Isn't it great?
I love that show.
Mrs. Webb. And
Yeah.
oh gosh, I'm just going to take a couple of days off, and I'm actually headed to judge a preliminaries for women who are they're going to be headed to Miss America, Miss USA.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
I'm hosting,
Yes.
so I will be interviewing that. That's happening this week. I do a lot of different.
Well, I know you're busy all the time doing something. Thank you so much. It's been such a joy having you with us. Thank you for joining us for the Influence Women podcast today. Again, we've loved having you with us. Check us out at influencewomen.org, and we'll see you next time for the next Influence Women podcast. It's been great having you with us today for the Influence Women podcast with Broadway and television and musical artist Gabrielle Lee. Gabrielle walked us through how to create an effective and professional digital press kit. But you may have some additional questions or needs, so make sure you reach out to her at contactgabriellelee@gmail.com. Again, contact@gabriellelee@gmail.com, or check out her website at gabriellelee.com. We know that the podcast is important to you because it's important to us as well. So before you sign off here, make sure you click the bell to be notified for the next Influence Women podcast. Also, like us if you haven't yet, and leave a comment if this podcast was effective and helped bless your life. We'd love to hear from you. So join us for the next Influence Women podcast. I'm your host and Global Director, Kathleen Cooke. It's been great having you with us.